everybody. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful evening. Um, Hold on. Where is okay, there it is. All right, y'all. We are gonna get into it. As you guys can see, we have a wonderful guest. This is GMT. Shout out to the good brother. And we're gonna
Thank
we're gonna
you.
get into it. So just to kind of start things off, just let the folks know who you are and what you do, and then we'll get it popping.
Okay, so I go by GMT. I started a channel a little over 2 years ago, and I was doing panels. I was doing reactions and everything, and something came to me. Like it honestly came to me in a dream to start an actual dating show. So I actually put it together, and as we're gonna get into, I'll give you the origin when it's time. But pretty much, I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a man. I consider myself a man of integrity, and I do my best to keep my word. So that's me in a nutshell.
We love integrity. See, that's one of the main things on my channel is keep that same energy and having integrity with everything that you do. That doesn't mean we have to be perfect at all times, but just having that accountability for oneself, that's something we talk about a lot, a lot on this channel.
Right.
And I'm just super excited for us to have this conversation. If you guys don't remember, during a previous live stream, I believe it was Highway 20 that came in and was like, you need to react to this clip. You need to react to this clip. And it was a clip from this good brother's channel where they were talking about, whether or not you're the baby mama or the baby's mother, or do you choose your baby's father, which was a crazy
Crazy.
conversation.
Crazy.
Absolutely insane. But I do want to kind of talk a little bit about how we linked up. So if you want to give them your side of how we ended up linking up.
So it was wild because I was just scrolling on Instagram one day and I saw a clip, and it was a clip of that crazy lady that was saying that y'all women don't choose their baby fathers, and I'm like, what? So when I saw the clip, I was like, where's like that person looks familiar. Then I saw Sandra pop up, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, yo, I gotta follow her now. So I started binge watching everything, yo. I went down the pipeline. I started sharing her stuff. Like, listen, I was hooked. I was hooked. So that's why I reached out to you and I was like, hey, I would love for you to collaborate with me somehow with this show because I just love your content.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think, like minds usually end up finding each other. Because when I was
Right,
watching the clip, the things you were saying to her were just spot on, just absolutely spot on. And one of the things that I appreciated, especially as somebody that's done panels, like I used to do panels on a bunch of different channels and it would get crazy. People would be so
right,
disrespectful, talking over each other, just crazy chaotic energy. And one of the things that I really respected about the panel that you did was there was none of that. There was able to be
right.
disagreement and correction without it being like yelling over each other, everyone getting rowdy, but it was like a place of actually trying to understand each other and trying to communicate and educate. So I really appreciated that when I was
No.
watching that clip. It was a breath of fresh air, as they would
You
say.
know, so we all come from different walks of life. And there's no point in me trying to convince you as an adult my vision, right? All I could do is talk to the audience. So obviously, when you have an audience of people that's listening, they want to hear something that is beneficial to them. So I believe in talking to them, not the person on the panel. So when I'm on panels with people or when I'm conducting a panel, I just allow people to kind of be who they are, and then I just speak data. I speak what I know. And that way we don't really have to argue because it's like you can't really argue with facts.
That's true. Well,
Yeah,
people try. People,
we try. You can try.
people
But
will
you're gonna look
definitely
bad, and I
try.
don't even have to. I don't even have to raise my voice at that point because you look bad. So that's kind of where I stand when I hold panels. When I'm running my channel to that degree, I'm like, I'm not gonna argue with anybody. We just gonna have a conversation, and we could agree to disagree at the end of the day, and I could still love you at the end of the day. But you know, it's just part of the show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that approach because and see this is what I try to tell others because I've been on both sides of it. If y'all know, y'all know. My time over there in Lucas Land was crazy. I
Right.
was a hothead. When I tell you I used to be doing a little back and forth with people and it does not bear any fruit being that way. It does not
No.
bear any fruit. You could be
Mm-mm.
right as all get up like because I don't think I had any, at least too many incorrect takes, but
Right.
it doesn't matter if it's presented in a way that's very argumentative or presented in a way that's very aggressive or hostile. The person you're talking to
Right.
ain't gonna hear you, and even the people in the audience aren't going to hear you. So
That's a
you
fact.
are absolutely correct when you say keeping your head calm, cool, collected, stick to the facts. And if they're gonna embarrass themselves, then that's just what it's gonna be.
Let them. Right. Look, you look at
Exactly.
her. Look at her that day, right? Everything she said made absolutely no sense. I just let her make no sense, and I just was just like, "Oh, hey, look, this is logic here." Now you could say whatever you're saying, and she didn't learn anything. We left the panel, and she's still her, right? And that's fine. But the great thing is, I found you from it, right? I was able to connect with different audiences from it, and that's what matters to me.
And you never know. Like sometimes people will hear things and it'll plant a seed in the back of their mind. So you never
Right,
know. She might not get it now, but maybe after having different life experiences or seeing different things or being exposed to different things, that seed will begin to get watered and then grow. So you never know.
right,
That's why like I try not to write people off entirely, um, but rather give them space to figure it out. I'm gonna throw
right.
the information out there. If you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, maybe you'll get it later, or maybe you'll
No,
never
right,
get it. But that's your life's journey. And at least I
right,
said what I need to say. And maybe somebody out there, like you said, in the audience, that's why we talk to the audience, maybe they get it. Maybe they're in a similar
right,
situation and they had a similar thought process, but the way you said it made it make sense to them. That's what's
right, right.
that's what's so great about like different conversations had through panels specifically about like relationships or politics or whatever the case may be. But I do want to get into your show. So I
Okay.
watched the trailer and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really watched a whole lot of reality TV since like VH1 2000s Flavor of Love. That was probably the last time
Man,
I watched
not
like
flavor of love.
reality
Flavor Flav?
I've watched season 1, 2, and 3, but
Right.
I haven't really watched too much reality TV. But it did have me tapping back into wanting to see like, okay, what's going on with these people and watching their journey. So I do want us to talk a little bit about what how this show started, and then also how it's transformed into what it is today. Because you said it was a little bit different.
Right, right, right. So like I said, Highway Skinny, he's in the chat. He's been with me when I was doing, my typical panels, my Sunday shows and everything. And it was always a divide between the men and the women. Right. And but the one thing I always tried to do on the show was try to come to, I would like go around the panel and like, okay, at the end of this, you speak your piece, you speak your piece, you speak your piece. So it was great to see that, but it gave me an idea. And I think when you sit on ideas, it ends up things end up coming to you when you least expect it. So I was sleeping one night, woke up in a dream, and boom, something said, write down the words Meet2Marry. I had no idea where this came from, where the name came from, the number 2 in it, all of that. So Highway Skinny calls it meat. He write MEAT to marry. I don't know why he does that. But it came to me in a dream, and I wrote it down, and I didn't know where it was going to go. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first thought about this show, it was going to be just like this. It was going to be on StreamYard. I was going to have 3 people in the waiting room, one main contestant, and I was going to bring people up one by one and have them eliminate them on StreamYard. That was the original show. And then I talked to my wife, and my wife was like, how can we make this real?
That's a good
So
wife.
yeah.
That's a
So
shout out to your wife.
she's in the chat right now too. She said hello. It's Dion. So so it was like, how are we gonna make this real? So what I did was, I didn't own a camera. I didn't own anything. All I was using was the camera that's on my computer to live stream. I didn't own a camera. I didn't have any lights. I didn't have nothing. But something said, just go outside and talk to people, and it'll happen. Every person that I opened my mouth to when I told them I had an idea was like, "Well, I got a camera. I do video." Another person, "Well, I do audio. I can help you with audio." Another person, "I got lights." So little by little, I started building my team, and we started casting, and then it turned into a live show. So from there, it was just an elimination show where we just had people on stage, they eliminated people, and then they chose one person. And then next time you saw them was at the reunion. As we kept going with season 2, it started getting the attention of more people in the industry. So a famous fella, his name is Corey Rooney. Corey Rooney, he wrote Real Love for Mary J. Blige, Independent Women for Destiny Child. So he actually got wind of the show and asked me to come out to LA. So I flew out to LA, and he told me what I needed to do to change the show. So he came onto the show as a consultant, and he helped me build the show into a reality show. So this season, this is why you're going to get not only elimination, but you'll also be able to follow them on therapy sessions, group dates, personal dates. You're able to see a ceremony at the end to see if they're going to stay together or not. Plus, you have a reunion too. So it's
I
a full
love
reality
that.
show.
That's awesome. That's amazing. See, the awesome thing about having a vision and then going out and sharing that vision, the awesome thing about it is you end up linking with people that you may have never even thought about linking up with. So, you having that vision and then going out and being bold enough to ask people and tell people about it, that's amazing because a lot of times people will have these wonderful ideas and they'll just sit on them. They'll
Right,
just sit on them and they'll be
right,
embarrassed or afraid to talk to somebody or ask somebody. And there's so much that can happen with collectivism if we communicate with one another and actually just try to link up, try to make these visions come to fruition. And see, you being that way, it led you to somebody else that's going to lead you to somebody else, and it's going to continue to build upon itself. So that's
right.
awesome. I love that story. I love stories like that because it's so inspiring. It's very
Well,
inspiring.
so remember, this was just a year and a half ago. Now I own 7 cameras. I have a plethora of lights. We have drones. I could film a whole movie if I wanted to, a whole production set now within a year and a half.
That's
It's
awesome.
crazy.
That's amazing. See, that's
It's
dedication. See,
yeah,
look, whenever you have a vision, you got to put foot to ground. Okay. You got to start taking
right,
steps towards that vision because you never
right.
know how things could pan out. You never know who you're going to get in contact with. But taking those steps, that's the beginning part. So that's I'm gonna be honest, you inspiring me right now because I got some ideas I've been sitting on. You got me
Do it.
inspired. That's cool. I love that.
Mhm.
So you said that the show is going to have like therapy sessions and group dates and the regular dates. So why include the therapy sessions into the show?
So I wanted to. So before, what I realized is that people would get together, but everyone that gets together needs some type of coaching. And if a lot of people are coming from worlds that they haven't seen successful relationships in, so I figured, well, if I could foster a space for you to initially meet each other, but not only meet each other, but get guidance throughout this process, then maybe you might last. So that's really what it was for me, was just trying to make sure we could try to see their success after the show.
I love that. Because a lot of times you'll see these different like dating shows. I'm not going to name any, but you'll see these different dating shows and they just, okay, well, there you go. See if it
Done.
works.
Balloons pop, it's over.
Right, right. Balloons pop, that's it. And then you hear them crashing out online, dragging each other, telling each other's dirty
Right.
business later on, which
Right.
is great for content creators, but not so much for the relationship itself. So I
Right.
love the fact that you're including those therapy sessions, kind of like forcing it into the experience. Because I'm gonna be honest, I think a lot of the problems, specifically if we're talking in the Black community, a lot of the problems that we have are up here.
Right.
Every
Right.
community has, like, financial, social, or whatever the case may be. Every community has that. I think for us as Black folks, a lot of the issues we have are up here in the mind, and that
Right.
translates into everything else that we do, because your mind is the creator of your reality. So
It's a fact.
getting that help with the relationship right at the beginning is so beautiful. I love that idea.
Right, right. And that was so important for us. Like, my wife and I, we try to push, we believe in successful marriages, successful togetherness, right? You don't gotta be married, but so long as you're together and you know how to make it work, my wife and I are big on that. So this was an avenue when people are like, well, what are you doing to be a part of the solution? Well, here I go. Right. And when I realized that it wasn't working, well, how can I play a bigger part in making it work? And the beautiful thing is, and this is why, like you said, even with the therapist, all I had to do was just go ask questions and they were like, I'll help you. Like literally putting yourself out there is all you need to do to build something. That's really it. Like I ain't gonna say it's not hard work. This is hard, but it's beautiful at the end of the day and it's work worth trying.
That's amazing. Yeah, exactly. Closed mouths don't get fed. So,
Right,
and the worst thing people could say is no. Like, that is
right.
the worst thing somebody could say is no. And then you can move on
That's
and
it.
ask somebody else. So I think that is awesome. Just the inception, and then also the work put behind it to make this into an entire production. And then not only that, because a lot of times with reality TV, it's more so exploitive of the people involved. Just about getting the clicks and the views, which obviously folks want clicks and views, like that's fine. But also take into consideration what can be done to make the experience for those involved better, to actually give them
Right,
something of value in return. So including the different therapy, and then also the group dates, because they could learn from the other couples, and then just kind of guiding them through that process. Even if that relationship doesn't work, that those therapy sessions and
right,
the information learned, that can be passed on when they go out and date somebody else. So I think that
right.
is wonderful. And I do want us to watch the trailer. So I'm gonna pull up the trailer for everybody so that we can see. And it's just it's good. It is good, y'all. Give me one moment. I'm
Thank you.
going to bring this up so that we can take a look see. And by the way, y'all, I do have the trailer linked in the description down below. So after this live stream, or if you want to dip out for a quick second and then come back in, definitely go hit up the link in the description to watch the trailer for yourself, and then leave a like, leave a comment for the algorithm. Okay, we need to make sure
Thank
that we
you.
are showing love to folks that are doing the good work, right? And then also, and this is maybe my own little soapbox, creators who don't go after other creators for reacting to their
Right.
content.
That's
uh,
crazy too.
so
Without
let's
creators,
show
what
some
is another
love.
creator? So yeah, you're right. I'm
let's
with you.
let's make sure we show some love to the good brother for putting his content out there, and then not only that, allowing other folks to react to it and share it. So let's show this good brother some love. I have it linked in the description down below, so make sure you click it, whether it's right now during the stream or after the stream. Just make sure you show the good brother some love, and then give a like, follow, leave a comment for the algorithm. But let's go ahead and watch this trailer, y'all. Let's get into the tea.
You're showing me that I can be someplace safe, and that it's safe here.
He stinks. This is not the first, second, or third time this man I have smelt this man, this smell.
And you think that a free-spirited person like me is gonna keep you out of trouble?
Oh, well then we can
That's
have all.
screaming hell.
Ask me this, is if the right man were to enter your life, is it gonna disrupt your life, or would it be able to fit seamlessly into?
I'm gonna respect somebody and honor somebody so much more if they can tell me flat out what they want.
Discipline, obedience,
And as a young 23-year-old, it's hard, but
someone that like can be my best friend, like we can laugh, have fun together.
Hey, living, walking, breathing, talking, for sure.
All right. Well, you have to make some decisions.
Okay.
Are you ready? Are you excited?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to have you bring back the first person that you would like to cut.
I'm grateful to have met you and have like the opportunity to recognize different parts of myself.
All right, so picture didn't come. Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, she had the word.
Thing I know it was, as soon as I sat down, it's like he was an instant jokester.
And I get the bright idea to ask, oh, so where's our first date? And he says, Taco Bell.
Come on now, let's be for real.
So you don't like my hair? Just say that.
No, I don't. I've been said that.
We'll drop those palms down onto the mat as you come to a halt.
Let me get rid of all the fake
And you're telling me one thing, but you're looking another. Image is key.
I'm glad she brought more napkins. I ran out of toilet paper yesterday.
And I just don't honestly think I'm gonna get that 100% from this person.
You've been saying your next relationship is your husband.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thank you. Thank
That
you.
was good. Now, isn't one of the ladies that's on the show the lady that was part of the panel, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was her.
Her camera on whether it was her laptop or her phone wasn't doing her justice. She's very beautiful.
It was horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, her camera wasn't doing her justice, but she looks great on the show. And so I think this is very interesting. The different dates, those look fun. I might have to get my pen and paper out and write down some of them some date ideas. Go horseback riding.
Did horseback riding, go-kart. We did an escape room. We did oh my goodness, different dinner dates. Charlotte opened up to us, like the whole city. Anywhere I want to film at now, they're like, you're welcome. So it's crazy. We're able to utilize so much of Charlotte now. I'm in awe because I'm not even from this city. So to be able to do that is wild.
Well, see, everybody, people who are like-minded, they will see the value in what you're doing. And not only that, they're going to want the publicity as well. So that's creating those relationships there. You posting the content and then showing like the different places that you're going or where the dates were taking place, that's going to drive traffic to them. A lot of this is just a symbiotic relationship whenever you're dealing with, productions like this. So I think that's awesome. The one girl, she's funny. I might be watching for her. She's talking about the dude stank.
That's her. So that's the one that you reviewed. That's it. Yeah. Her name is Sandy. That's her.
That's funny. That's funny because that's my nickname, Sandy. A lot of people call me Sandy too. So I might be watching the show just to see what happens with the good sis and see to watch her journey and see how things play out for her. So
wow.
So were there any moments on set that y'all had to cut from like the show that you couldn't put out there, but you were like, dang, I really wish we could?
Being that it's new, there was a lot of stuff that I wish we would have caught that we didn't. And when you're now learning, like me learning more of how to film and how to work production, the cameras need to be rolling all the time. And there was times where I'm like, we're all just taking a break somewhere, having lunch, and it's like, oh, we should have had somebody rolling the cameras on them and caught that moment. But I would say parts that we cut was everyone understood the assignment. They all understood that it's a show. They showed up their best. They knew that we wasn't looking for people fighting each other. And so, I like I said, I'm trying to show the best of Black people, but still be entertaining. And I think that's something where a lot of shows don't know that they can do. Like we could still be classy, good, fun, young people, but not embarrass each other. And that's where I believe all of my contestants showed up at. There was one time I tried to create a messy moment. I'm going to be honest with you. This is for our audience right here. I was like, yo, listen, we're gonna spark this conversation between men and women and just see what happens. And it turned out to be the most kumbaya conversation I ever had. And I was like, and we caught it on camera, and I'm like, this is exactly what the audience needed. They needed that moment, not what I was gonna create. People are gonna get so much value from that. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I love it. And so it's not only just good for people that are out here dating to try to figure out like, okay, how do I date with intention? How do I navigate this new dating market, because it's completely different from how it was like when, for instance, my parents got together or my grandparents. Like the landscape is completely different, and right now we're trying to
Right.
figure out, as a collective, we're trying to figure, well, not me anymore and not you, because we out the game, but outside looking in, folks are trying to
Right.
figure out how to navigate these new dating situations. So it's beneficial for people that are dating, but then also folks that are in a relationship, seeing
Right.
the therapy, seeing the different things that come up. I'm always looking to learn, because relationships are hard. Maintaining a
Right.
relationship is hard. So anywhere you can get fruit, okay, anywhere you can get something beneficial, I think that this show would actually be really good for not just folks out there dating, but also folks that are in relationships, because those therapy sessions are included in there.
Right, right. And you'll see those therapy sessions, they're gonna add so much value. The two people that we had a male perspective as a he's not an actual licensed therapist. For him, he's a marriage counselor. And then the woman that we had is a licensed therapist. So we put them two together to talk to the contestants, and they had their one-on-ones, and it was so good. Like you're gonna really enjoy that part of the show.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I love that you had both a man and a woman, because, the different perspectives are so important, especially even if you're talking about from a professional standpoint within the therapy space, because the
Right.
last thing you want to do is just to kind of pigeonhole it into one side, having only one side of the conversation. Um, Having both of them there, I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome.
Right.
I'm looking forward to this. I really am. And I want to get into some of the information around just the dating market itself. So what do you think the shift was between, like I said, when our parents were getting together, our grandparents were getting together, versus the dating market as it is now?
People probably gonna hate me for this, but I blame it all on feminism. I'm not gonna hold you. I blame a lot of it on, you know, just the divide of we don't need each other. And 'cause I would say that started with our grandparents, in their generation. And moving forward to now us, we have so many people that they want to be in relationships, they want to be with each other, but they just don't know how. And the divide was that. I don't believe there's one specific gender to blame for the issue. I believe that one could hold more weight than the other, right? Like, and I do put a lot of weight on the women because, yeah, women control access to having children. So essentially, that's the family unit. So it is up to women, for me, in my point of view, to hold that accountability to picking the right man, right? And then when you pick the right man, now you got the right family, right? Because there's not all men ain't bad. All men ain't bad, right? So no matter how they try to depict that, there's good men out there. So it is to the women to have to vet those men and leave the no good men alone. Men are going to kind of try to sleep with whoever, right? Like they're just going to try to hunch on whatever allows them to. So if women are allowing them to, then hey, that's what's going to happen.
That's absolutely true. I do agree with feminism. And y'all, I have my tin hat here just in case, because y'all know I love to go down these rabbit holes. Um, in my opinion, I think it's definitely a combination of feminism, but I think a more insidious level to that is, the elite, they want to depopulate the earth. This is something that they've been talking about for quite some time, but they understand that if they go around genociding people, then we'll be on their
Right,
tail. So I
right,
think that this divide between men and women, and this transcends the Black community at this point. The divide was really fueled by that desire for depopulation. So that's how you get the feminism that was, infected into the minds of women. And I'm not talking about all feminism. I think, having the
Yeah.
ability to
Oh yeah.
own property,
Work,
get
vote.
jobs, work, vote, all of that makes sense. But once you start gearing the feminist message, which this was the messaging at the beginning of it too, a lot of people don't know that. We talk about the different waves of feminism. That's like with policy and different things like that. But even at the inception of feminism, there was already that anti-man sentiment within it. So they convinced the women that they don't need their man, they don't need to be with a man, and then convince them that they can do everything a man can do, which is
Right.
insane.
There's that whole song. Anything you can do, I can do better. Right. It's something that was ingrained in our ladies and our women from very small, and not knowing we're different, but we have our own strengths. Right.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thing. I don't want to be a woman. I don't want to have look, today I gotta work. I work hard. I'm out there busting my behind on the street doing work, right? Lifting up ladders, going on poles, doing all the man stuff. My wife don't want to do that. I don't want to be at home vacuuming and cooking and cleaning and all that either. So we have our own strengths, that what we do and what we don't want to do, and who we are just naturally by nature, right? So we got to embrace that, and that's what this is, right? Trying to bring that back, nurturing nature, family.
Yes. I love that. Yeah. There's a yin and yang when it comes to men and women. We offer different things, but feminism has deluded women into thinking that what they offer is lesser than. And that's
Right.
absolutely insane. We literally
Right.
and the fact that they're getting women to stray away from the very thing that makes us special is crazy work to me. We
Crazy.
create people. Like, I've created 2 people of my own. It's a lot, but that is a superpower that women have. And men, the whole infrastructure of the world was built off the backs of men. So,
Right.
We offer different things, but they are both extremely valuable to the fabric of the world, the population of
Right.
human beings. So,
Right.
you know,
I love what that person in the comments just said. She said, that person said the grass is greener type shit. Yeah.
yes.
It's so true. We always feel like it's better to be the opposite, but in reality, it's like, yo, no, we're good how we are, and you're good how you are. And I don't want to be you. I don't look at another man and envy another man. I don't want to be another man. I want to be the best version of myself. And I think if we take that to relationships and everything, we'll be fine as a society. We'll be fine as a people. But we got to get it. This is where content creators come in, right? Reality content creators are more famous than any celebrity that's out there right now. So this is where we have the microphones to be able to talk to the younger people that want to learn something and want to be different in life. Right? I would want my son to marry a daughter raised by a woman like you. That's how it goes.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And likewise. So, I want to get into that grass is greener types, because I think that plays a very big role, not just in how we view man to woman, dynamics, but then also just relationships in general. One of the things that I think also contributes to this is everyone going on Instagram and they're seeing these fake relationships where they're posting everything super perfect. One of the examples I have is like the dates. So they'll post like the man did this like little date thing where he laid out the flower petals and he did this and he bought me a Chanel bag and he did this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, all of that is pretty much fake. Like, it's most of that content out there is fake. And so you'll have women who are with a good man, who takes them on, who does take them on dates, who does do right by them, isn't, promiscuous, cheating on them. But then they'll get online and they'll look at all of this content and then they'll compare their relationship to something that is fake, fraudulent.
Right.
And then they're going back to their man being like, well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And, I'm not a man, so I can't say the man's perspective on that and how, social media is affecting y'all's side of the relationship. But I see that a lot with the women. That grass is always greener when it comes to other people's relationships.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy. But, in reality, it's all glitzing. It's all fake, right? Like this is where I try to say, even in my household, like sometimes we'll have to put down the phones and we're not focusing so much on what's happening into Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. And we got to put down the phone sometimes because it puts this narrative in your head like that's how life is supposed to be. And in reality, what we're living right now is how life's supposed to be. If we're struggling together, we're struggling together. We're figuring it out. We're going to get there. I'm the man that, like, and I'm not just saying me in general, but find yourself a man that is at least trying. Now, trying looks different. I'm not talking about a 40-year-old rapper. No, I'm talking about a man that you see him getting up every day, going to do something that he doesn't want to do, but he has to do it, and he's doing it for a purpose. That's a man that women should find and choose to be with. Unfortunately, it's the opposite. Like you said, there's all of these Insta celebrities, and yeah, they're painting this picture of perfection. These people are out there struggling. I know it for a fact. They're out there struggling. Their relationships are trash. They're in and out of marriages every 2 years. Like it's not even, sometimes 7 months. Everything about their lives is hard, but they make it look good. They make hard look good.
I like the way you put that. Make hard look good.
Right. It's crazy. When we need to really figure out a way on how to make our own lives look good. I look good to my wife. My wife loves to see me get up every day, go out to work, come back, and I'm here building a whole media company, right? She loves that. Like she looks at me like that's a man right there. But I tell women all the time, find a man like that. Find a man that's trying, that's literally putting in the work every day.
I agree.
We're built for this. We have shoulders for this. You know what I'm saying? We're built to carry the world on our back. And it's up to the woman to support the man.
That is very true. And, I agree with that sentiment 1000% because Justin, he's a software developer, and he also works with developing games. He has 2 different games, well, actually more than that he's working on right now, and he's producing. And ever since I've known him, he's been just working hard. I mean, he's self-taught. He's a self-taught software engineer. So, and it's not always going to be easy with everything. There's ups and downs. Even with tech, even with Justin having as much experience and hard work and things to show for it, it's not always like everything going perfect at every point in time. But whenever you find somebody that, is tenacious and they're sticking to it and they're putting their best effort into everything that they do, that is a keeper. And when it comes to the women, having a woman that is supportive of what you're doing makes the difference. I'm not going to say any names, but there's a couple that me and Justin know who he has this vision because he's in software developing and game development as well. And he had a vision for something that he wanted to do through Roblox because it's very profitable to make little mini games within Roblox. And he wanted to invest money into it. His fiance, I think now wife, was like, no, don't do this. You should go get a 9-to-5, telling him to basically put his dreams on the back burner because she wanted to be comfortable. Which I understand the desire for comfort, but when it comes to, building something that's going to last, when you have a man that has the hard work, the dedication, and he's not like a brand new developer. He has the things under his belt that you can see.
Right.
not supporting your man when he's trying to do something like that is crazy work to me.
Crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. So shout out to your wife for doing what she's supposed to do. Okay, being a good partner and supporting you in your vision, and seeing how you said you've gotten to this point in just a little over a year.
A year and a half.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Skinny, highway skinny in the chat. He knows exactly when I started, because when I was on a live stream, I mentioned it. I was like, I want to start this idea. It came to me in a dream, Meet2Marry. And I remember saying it, and Highway gave me so many different ideas just from the chat alone, just on what to do and how to. So yeah, it was only a year and a half ago. It was not that long.
That's
amazing. It was not that long.
Shout out
and
to
now
Highway
I could.
20.
Yeah, now I could film a whole movie. If I could film a whole motion picture right now, just from everything that I've got.
And see, what's interesting is that, you developing that craft, that could turn into exactly what you're saying. Feature length films. I mean, I don't know if you know about, I think is it Markiplier? I think that was him. He's a YouTuber, and he created his own movie. I think it's called like Iron Lung or something like that. And it's just sweeping the box office right now. They took it off the listing because it was doing so well, and Hollywood was getting a little bit jealous that a YouTuber that doesn't have connections to anyone in Hollywood, and he's doing this and funding it himself. Iron Lung, that's what it's called. So he's going off and doing that. And so relating that back to what you're doing with building that skill set and putting that hard work behind it, that if that's something that you wanted to do, and then if you're interested in doing stuff like that, hit me up. I'm an actress as well.
Actually, I'm gonna need you then, because that's my goal. My goal, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. It is to become the biggest media company in the world.
I love that.
That's it.
We need to get Tyler Perry up out the paint. I'm sick of those stories he be coming up with. His stuff be crazy as hell. But yes, I am here for it. And that's why, look, we as a community, we need to come together and support one another. So definitely, I'm gonna say this again for anyone that's joining the chat right now. In the description, we have the trailer to Meet2Marry, the 3rd season. We have that trailer in the description. So please, whether it's right now or immediately after the stream, definitely hit up that link. Show the good brother some love. This is grassroots effort. Okay. You're not going to get this type of honesty, transparency, and integrity from other creators with, like, for instance, like Zeus Network. You have like reality TV with Zeus Network, where it's just ratchet nonsense after ratchet nonsense after ratchet nonsense, nothing but brain rot. We have an opportunity to build something grassroots and support somebody that's doing the good work and actually wanting to help cultivate good relationships, not just viral moments. So please show the good brother some love and hit the link up in the description. But I do want to talk a little bit more about the dating market. So what is it you think is, because I'm not a man and I'm not ever going to pretend to be a man. So what is it that you think most men are out here looking for when it comes to finding the one?
We're looking for a cooperative woman. And I think married men could say the same thing, and men in the dating market can also. And I'm not talking about all men, right? There's some men that enjoy being beneath a woman, right? That's fine. They exist. They love it. That's all they want to do. But a man that's about his purpose, we need women that's cooperative, right? That's really, and cooperativeness comes with femininity. It comes with, nurturing. It comes with being soft. It comes with so much, right? But that's really what men want, peace. And when you're cooperative, you bring that sense of peace. I don't have to argue with you. Like you said, your boy that's building a software company, building out a software for a game, but his wife is telling him to go get a job. That's not cooperativeness, that's not peace. You could say, okay, listen, we could be uncomfortable so long as we could pay the bills, but on top of me paying the bills, I'm gonna have to spend the bulk of my time outside of work building something. Yeah, look at myself, like, and I don't want to keep bringing it back to me, but like I said, I work. I'm in leadership at my job. I have a team that reports to me, and it's a lot of people. I have to deal with them even outside of work. So I'm filming and answering the phone from my regular 9 to 5. So I'm working while building myself. But you have to have a woman that's cooperative, that's not going to push that dream aside. It has to work that way. Other than that, most men give up on their dreams because of their women.
That's true. That's true. The cooperation. What do you think it is about cooperating that women are just so, have such an aversion to? What do you think? Where do you think that is?
I think a lot of women are, and I don't mean this by no disrespect, but I do think a lot of women are more selfish, and I think a lot of women were, and I'm not saying all, I'm saying a lot. I know I got to be very specific on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
thumb thuggers,
not all.
as I call them.
Yeah, but exactly. So, but a lot of women are selfish, and they feel as if, well, they were taught as if they're queens, goddesses, princesses, all of the above. So when a man wants to do something, it's like, well, no, what about me? I need to be first. Like, after you put me first, then you could think about you. Not thinking that the man always needs to be first because the man is what's building, right? And then me putting God above me looking at God, and then you looking at me is what's going to allow our family to grow. But if I have to look at you all the time, how could I grow when you're my ceiling? It's impossible.
That makes a lot of sense. I like the way you put that. Yeah, I agree 1000%. I think and this kind of ties back into the feminism. I think feminism, with the doors being opened, it has created that sense of selfishness. And I think that stems from an overcorrection. So that's what tends to happen with society. So we'll be in one extreme and then we'll overcorrect to the other extreme. So whereas like when my grandparents and great grandparents were coming up, the woman, you stayed at home, you took care of the kids, whatever it is that the man needed you to do, you did it. You didn't argue. You shut the hell up. You did what you needed to do in the background. And that was the role of the woman. And so then you have that overcorrection, because I do think that, as women, we're still human beings. We still should have our joys in life, with being a wife or being a mother, but then also our own little personal joys and being able to do that as well. So the overcorrection was, oh, well, why would you want to they call it slavery now.
Slavery.
They call it slavery to take care of the person that you love, which
right. It's
first
crazy.
of all, disrespectful to the history of what slavery was, but I digress. They call it slavery now to be in service to the person that you love. And so it leads into that demand, like, I'm not going to do anything, and I expect the man to do everything. And I agree, that is extremely selfish. Extremely selfish.
Right.
So as far as, and I want to be balanced with the conversation, especially like you said, YouTube, we know the thumb thuggers, they hear one thing and then they take their brain, they remove it from their skull and they put it on the desk next to them, and then they just start typing away. So I do want to be balanced and, get into, what do you think are the issues with men in the dating market as far as like trying to find, the good mate? What is it that men can be doing better in this dating market?
I think men need to find other male mentors. I think that's the biggest problem with men nowadays. We are looking at men on the same level as us and not men that's doing more than us, being in a place where we want to be. If we want to be husbands, then we need to look at husbands and talk to them that guide me. And not all husbands are going to guide you in the right direction, right? There's some husbands that look up to their wives, which is crazy. But find a husband that you see that's straight leaders. And then only then would you be successful in finding good relationships. But in anything that you do, right? Business, school, any type of, you need a mentor. You need people that are where you want to be in order to successfully get there. So that's where men lack.
I love that. And that's actually going to lead into something else that I wanted to kind of touch on, which would be the red pill manosphere, because it seems like that space was and I don't know the exact inception of it, but it seems like that space was meant to basically give just that mentorship. So what are your thoughts on the red pill manosphere, all of that?
So I think it came from a good place. And I think it's still, depending on who is the one that's giving the information, it's still a good thing. The problem with it is that there's extremes, right? There's extreme Democrats, there's extreme Republicans, right? There's extreme liberals, there's always going to be the extremes, right? So at that point, how do you filter it out? A young mind is gonna have a very difficult time hearing somebody that's saying all women ain't ish because they was just hurt by a woman. The woman just cheated on them. Now I'm looking for this content in order to learn from, and all I'm hearing is all women are trash. Then guess what? I'm gonna look at every woman that comes to me and be like, bow down. I'm the man. Sit down. And that's where the problem lies. This is why I say the proper mentors, and that's what a lot of men don't have. We don't. One, there's another issue that we have. The men with the knowledge don't choose to talk to the other men without it. I noticed that, especially doing this show. There's a lot of people, a lot of men that are successful, because life for men should not be centered around building a relationship. Life for men should be centered more around building yourself. And then once you build yourself, a proper relationship goes within. Now you understand what it is to be a man because you built yourself. The problem is that, when you don't have the proper men that's like, hey, youngin', come here and let me talk to you, then yeah, it's going to be hard. I've mentored many, many different men, and young dudes would come to me all the time, and I would, one, give them a job. So a lot of those men work for me on my 9 to 5. And then I would see that they're about the streets. I could tell they were raised by a single mom by themselves. And usually those are the guys that come in like, yo, I'm a thug. Yo, what's up, my nigga? That type of talk. First thing I always tell them, don't call me a nigga. That's the first thing I say. So right there, that's a shock for most black men. Don't call you a what? That's how I talk. That's who we are. You think you somebody else? No. But the one thing is they don't really challenge me on it. They listen because I assumed some form of masculinity. Men respect masculinity. So that's where I'm able to get into the young mind and say, hey, let's work on you becoming a better employee first. After you become a better employee, I want to see you now advance yourself and get raises. Now, I'm doing this for a reason. The mindset behind it is not that he has to care about his job and do it. No, it's discipline. And men need that. And then when you're able to instill discipline in a man, now you could be a good leader of a household. All of those young men I mentored have wives, they're fathers, successful, they moved up in the company, they're doing well with themselves.
I love that. I love to hear success stories and see that's where a lot of the different red pill people, they kind of get it mixed up. They get it messed up. They focus only on the surface level, and then some of them even have like contradicting messaging when it comes to like relationships. Like for instance, you'll have the different like fresh and fit they'll say, oh, well, women should be virgins when they get married, but then they're telling the men to go smash as many women as possible. And
Doesn't
then
make
it's like,
sense. It contradicts itself.
exactly. So, I love that, you're talking about men coming together and having that mentorship with somebody that has the life that you want. And
Right.
see, I think it's very similar with women. A lot of times, and I understand why a lot of women don't want to talk to other women, is because the moment you say anything about, like you said, being cooperative with your man, taking care of your man, they will call you, and they've called me this plenty of times. I'm
Pick
sure if I
me.
clip this, they'll call me again. They'll call you pick me, mammy. They'll call you all sorts of stuff. And it makes it so that it makes you resentful and bitter. Like, I'm trying to tell you how to get what I have, and women enough will get online and talk about how they're going on dates and things aren't working out, or men aren't approaching them. So there is a desire for what married women have, or women that are in long-term relationships have, but then don't want to actually listen to the advice that comes with it. And
Right.
so I
Right.
think that mentorship, it's very important. And even though, people say the pick me and all the other stuff, I do encourage other women that are married and that have long-term relationships, or at least a healthy mindset around relationships, being very vocal, not just online, but then also with your family members, with the people around you. Similar to what you said, you had some young men that came around you and you helped get their lives together. So definitely shout out to you. As we're going through this interview, I'm just like very inspired by everything that you have got going on, and how you've really touched the lives of a lot of different people. Because what we fail to realize is, help someone else change their life, they're going to go on and help other people. And then it
And
becomes a
that's
chain.
And that's my lesson that I always tell people. To this day, like one of the young fellas called me the other day and he was like, yo, I wanted to thank you for allowing me to become the man that I am, because he didn't have a father. So he ended up looking at me as a father figure. So I told him, there's no need to thank me. The only way you could thank me really is not by words, but it's by teaching another young man in your same predicament.
Yes.
And he was like, I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm on it.
Absolutely. I think the phrase is each one teach one. I think that's, I might be
Yes.
messing that
That's
phrase
it.
up. That's it.
That's
Okay, I
it.
actually got it right, you guys. So many times I'll have all these different phrases I want to say, and I jack it up so bad. It's different when it's like a live stream versus a video. When I'm just filming a video, I can just look it up real quick and then say it right. On live stream, they always catch me slipping. I always get it mixed up. But each one teach one. And
Teach one. Yep.
that's how we come together and really fix these problems. Because getting online and blaming the opposite side for this, or blaming someone for that doesn't really fix anything. We can
Right.
figure out who's to blame. Well, now what? Now what?
What do we do?
Okay, where do we go
That
from
goes
there?
that goes back to our original conversation about when I conduct my panels and we go back and forth. Like, why are we arguing on panels? Now what? We know we don't agree with each other. Most of us are stubborn and we refuse to learn from what someone is telling us. So now what? That's why I don't believe in arguing with you. I'm not going to do the back and forth with you. I'm going to give you the best knowledge that I can, and I hope you pick something up. But if not, someone listening to me, they're gonna get it. Somebody in this audience is gonna hear this, whether it's they're here now or they find your broadcast later, and they're gonna learn something from this.
Absolutely. And that's the overall goal. Because you know people are sponges, whether they become stubborn or not. The message is,
Right.
it's there. The knowledge is there. It just needs to be watered and cultivated. So
Right.
with things like this, people might not get it right then and there. But I've seen enough success stories where people would be like, I was living my life one way. I heard someone say this one time and I was like, I ain't think about that. But then after life happens, they realize, oh, that person was correct. That person was giving me the secret sauce.
Right.
And then they go back to that moment. And the great thing about everything being online is that they if it's on a panel, they can revisit that panel and listen to it again. They can go back and
Right.
listen to the information again. And that's how we really start to fix everything that's going on with the community. You know, each one teach one, and be
Right.
open to that information. You know, it's very hard to hear someone say something negative or something critical of a behavior or a lifestyle that you may or may not have, that you may have, but just being open-minded to taking in that information. You don't got to adopt it right then and there, but just taking in
Mhm.
that information and then letting it kind of sit there and sit with it.
Well, I can say this. Shout out to you for having a platform like this, allowing, you, from what I learned about you, you speak the truth, right? And that's why your audience is here. That's why people love you. That's why you have loyal supporters. It's because you speak the truth and you open up the platform for people like me to come on it and talk, right? So shout out to you for that. Like, it means a lot. And I say that, and I say you specifically because a lot of women are not online doing what you do, right? So they're online spreading the hate. They're online following the Cynthia G's of the world. We don't want to say names, but you know what I'm saying, right? So they're online following those people, and you should be the one that has the 10 million followers because you're speaking the truth. But we got to get you there though. So this is why I just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And look, that's what I said about community. I want to see your dream come to fruition as well. And like I said, we can have a networking situation. So, the people the people I know, we can all come together and build something that's great. And I
Right.
love to see that, especially for us as Black people, because so often we're convinced or told or manipulated into believing that we can't do anything unless white people allow us to do it, which I fight so
Right.
hard against that messaging. I do not like the idea of telling little Black children that they can't succeed because of, white supremacy or because of this, that, and the third. I hate that for Black children. So with us, networking, and then there's other content creators. Shout out to Mrs. Smell the Roses. She's in the chat right now. There's a lot of different wonderful content creators out there, and we can all come together to build something special that
Right.
shows other Black people like, hey, there is a system out there. We can navigate it. Black people are capable of navigating these systems out there and building despite whatever it is that you think is against you. So definitely shout out to you, because
Thank you.
creating your media company in a year and a half is, there are people that have been working at it for a decade and haven't gotten to the point that you're at. So shout out to you. Shout out to everyone that's in your crew. Shout out to Mrs. GMT for being a good supportive wife. Shout out to the good sis. Does she ever get online and kind of give her perspective on relationship and things like that?
Yeah, so I used to have a panel I did called Grown Women Talking. And that was a crazy panel. So it used to be me, my wife, and 8 other women. And I would offer the male perspective. And I would get yelled at for 2 hours because I always keep my streams at 2 hours. I would get yelled at the whole 2 hours to the point where it was just like, oh my goodness. You know who Media Man is?
Yes. Medium
There
man,
was
yes.
nights, there was nights Media Man had to come on the panel to calm things down because it was so bad. He would come and just throw statistics out there like, hold on, GMT is right, y'all. Got to listen to him. It was bad. But yeah, my wife would come on those panels. She would offer her perspective as well. And also my wife is a host on the show too. And, so she'll host the guest as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Now I'm be looking and trying to figure out, okay, which one is GMC's wife? Shout out to the
She
good
was in
sis.
she was in the trailer. She was in the trailer.
Oh, nice. So all the women in the trailer were beautiful. So shout out to your wife, beautiful woman. All right, y'all. So I really love that we got to have this conversation. I don't want to keep you for too long, but we definitely have to continue to network,
Oh
and
yeah.
I hope to have you back on the channel sometime in the near future. And definitely I'm gonna be sitting clocking all the tea, all the tea from season 3. Oh, I didn't mean for that to rhyme. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, y'all.
Clocking all the tea for season 3. There we go.
For Meet2Marry. So y'all, please, if you haven't already, definitely hit the link down below for the trailer. Subscribe to his channel, and then also turn on the notification bell. Right? I think we kind of sleep on that notification bell.
Yes.
Turn it on so that you're notified once the first episode goes up. I will be sitting there drinking my tea, okay, watching it. So make sure you guys tune in for the first episode, and that's going to be on February 12th.
12th. Yep. This Thursday.
Yes. Absolutely. So thank you so much. Was there anything that you wanted to end on, or any final notes that you want to give to the people before we
Well, definitely, like I said, I want to thank you again for opening the platform to me. It's a blessing. Thank you, Skinny, for even referring my content to her, for her to find it so we can find each other. This has been phenomenal, a great experience for me. I love talking to people that's like-minded. So I really appreciate you, and that's something I wanted to leave off here with. And yeah, just enjoy Meet2Marry, y'all. It's an intentional show. It's a show that's meant, you could watch it with your children. It's not one of those shows where your kids got to leave the room because there's going to be somebody throwing a bottle at somebody's head, right? It's not one of those shows. It's a show that you could enjoy with your whole family. It's entertaining and it moves fast. So you don't want to miss it, y'all. You do not want to miss it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the live with me. And then also, again, we got a shout out to the glue, the connection there. So shout out to Highway 20, because if it weren't for you, this wouldn't have happened. I might not have ran into the good brother. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Like I said, make sure you are following both channels, because June to the Max, we're working on something like that. Okay, we're definitely working on something like that. So I'm gonna be tuned in on February 12th if you want to stay in the loop, because I will be talking about the show. So make sure you're in the loop, or else you're gonna be lost. I'll be sitting over here kikiing about the show, and you won't know anything that's going on. You'll be asking questions in the chat, and I'm gonna have to look at you and be like, "Well, why you ain't watched the episode? If you had watched the episode, you would know what's going on here." So if you want to stay tuned to the tea, because I'm gonna have a lot to say about. I always got stuff to say. I'm a woman. Women, we can yap. So if you want to stay abreast to all of that, make sure you are subscribed to his channel, have the notification on, and definitely check out the first episode on the 12th. Thank you so much to everybody in the chat, and final thank you to you, good sir. Thank you for coming on the platform.
Thank you.
To many more collaborations.
Many, many more. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Deuces.